From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, October the 20th, 2016. An IDF patrol came under attack today in the West Bank. Soldiers were pelted with rocks by several Palestinians near the Gush Etzion junction north of Hebron as they were patrolling in their army jeep. The soldiers had stopped their vehicle, got out, and ordered the rock throwers to cease, but the attack continued and one soldier was lightly injured. The IDF troops then commenced with the rules of engagement and shot at the rock throwers, one of whom was killed as a result. Israel security agency, the Shin Bet, released information today about plans for a major terror attack that was prevented by Israeli security forces. 4 Palestinians had planned to carry out a terror attack at a wedding hall in the city of Beersheba, where 2 of the suspects worked. They also had planned to kidnap an IDF soldier from Beersheba's central bus station, murder him, and use his remains as a bargaining chip to force Israel to give in to various demands. The Shin Bet, together with Israel police, successfully thwarted the attacks, arresting the terror cell members at the end of September, and today prosecutors filed indictments against the 4 at the Beersheba District Court. The Times of Israel reports that Israeli archaeologists have discovered the site of a historic battle from almost 2,000 years ago. The Israel Antiquities Authority, or IAA, released a statement today about the find that was uncovered at the end of last year. The site was the scene of a battle where the Roman army breached the walls of Jerusalem in a fierce attack. The IAA called the discovery a fascinating testimony of the intensive bombardment by the Roman army, led by Titus, on their way to conquering the city and destroying the Second Temple. The findings will be presented in a conference at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem later this month. Meanwhile, director of the IAA yesterday added his voice to the outrage being expressed at the recent resolution adopted by UNESCO, which denies Jewish and Christian ties to Jerusalem and its holy sites. Speaking at the opening of the new headquarters for the authority in Jerusalem, Director Yisrael Chasson suggested that the UN body was in essence destroying heritage and mentioned members of ISIS blowing up temples and historic sites in Syria. Chasson said recently UNESCO in essence joined this system of destruction by diplomatic means. This is essentially the same action by a diplomatic course. Jewish music executive Phil Chess has died. Chess was the co-founder of Chicago's legendary Chess Records, along with his brother Leonard. The two had come to the U.S. as children from Poland and started the groundbreaking label in 1950, recording such legendary blues artists as Muddy Waters, Etta James, and Buddy Guy. Chess died Tuesday night at his home in Arizona. He was 95. Swastikas were found at several locations near the University of Toronto. The vandalism was discovered on Friday at a few separate spots near the school. They follow similar recent incidents at the school's St. George and Mississauga campuses. B'nai B'rith Canada expressed their concern, and in response, the University of Toronto Student Union released a statement condemning the acts of vandalism. They said the swastika is a symbol of anti-Semitic hatred, and this kind of vandalism has no place on our campus. B'nai B'rith spokesperson Amanda Homan said the UTSU is setting a great example for student unions at other universities, such as York and McGill, which have been far less vocal in denouncing accusations of anti-Semitism on campus. She said, "We hope that the University of Toronto and local police will diligently investigate this matter so that all students can feel safe and secure on campus." The Union for Reform Judaism will be expanding its High School in Israel program thanks to a generous endowment. The Heller family donated $5 million to fund the program, which provides scholarships for students to take part in the educational and personal development opportunity for Jewish youth. The project, which will now be named for Isaac and Helene Heller, has American students spending 4 months on a kibbutz in Israel as well as taking classes, learning Hebrew, and traveling across the country. URJ President Rabbi Rick Jacobs said, as we make great strides in our continued efforts advocating for a progressive, pluralistic Israel, the reform movement is guaranteed to have future leaders passionately committed to Israel because of the continuity and growth of URJ Heller High. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight for Thursday, October the 20th at 7:30, a look at Islam and the West from the American Freedom Alliance. At 8 o'clock, Pakistani Muslim Qasem Hafiz shares the story of how he went from anti-Israel Islamist radical to pro-Israel activist. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Mossab Hassan Youssef, the son of a Hamas leader who became an Israeli spy, and his Shin Bet handler, Gonen Ben Yitzchak, telling the real-life story documented in the film The Green Prince, that's on L'chaim. And more with Mossab Youssef at 10 tonight. And coming up right after this newscast at 6:30, Alan Solo, a former chair of the Conference of Presidents, describes attending the funeral of Shimon Peres in Jerusalem, accompanying President Barack Obama. That's on tonight's In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, October the 20th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.